Hello and welcome to the Hall of Fame of Growth Leadership Hub. We have a success story to inspire you in your career, in your mid-career journey, and we have today our great student who has been very consistent for the last 1 year with us, and she has achieved some amazing results in her career as well by going through the processes, coaching, courses, membership, community learning, and so on and so forth. So before I actually share anything about it, first and foremost, let me welcome Padma to this Hall of Fame session.
Thank you, Rakesh. Good morning to you.
Yeah. So Padma, before actually we get into the detail of how and what of this, right? Can we understand more about yourself just for the audience sake?
So Rakesh, I have about 24 years of experience, and the initial few years was okay till I became a manager. So from 2010 onwards, I've stayed as manager. I was not able to get any leadership role, and I was not sure why that was happening. And I was in one of the latest technologies, both AI and BI. I was in that. Even in
Wow.
spite of having niche skills, I was continuing to stay either as a manager or senior manager. And every time I was laid off, I've gone through 4 layoffs. And every
Wow.
time I've laid off, my salary has just come down because, again, I'll come to the reasons of it later, but this is my story. So always a manager, and every single time I get a layoff, my salary goes down. That's my experience.
Okay. So thank you for sharing that, Padma. Now, I'm sure before you come to the community, there has been a lot of thoughts, a lot of trial error that you must have done, a lot of things that you must have tried in your career as well. What was your reason of joining this community?
So one reason, Rakesh, I just saw your ad in YouTube and then I jumped in. One was, the main thing was the connect that you mentioned. It's not just about the career growth and the
Mm.
intention of passing a salary, but it's the mindset of becoming an executive as well. So my vision is to open up my own IT firm and then have a set of people with certain cultural values in it. That's my vision. So when you spoke about that mindset growth itself as an executive, that really, hit the nail. So that's something I was looking forward. And I felt that joining this community would really help me. So I was looking forward to join. That's how I started.
Excellent. And you have been with us for a long period of time now, okay? And you have gone through your up and down of the journey, like you mentioned as well. So, how has been your journey so far in the community, and what was before, what is after?
So when I joined the community, first of all, I joined in as a silver member, and then within 15 days, I jumped in as a diamond member. One is, again, the background is that I had to use my daughter's college fees. I was going through a layoff, zero income, but I'm using my savings for doing a coaching. So it was a huge risk. But I said, if I don't crack out my mindset, again, I'm going into the same loop of manager and not getting a good salary, which I can really afford for my family. Like, so that's why I jumped in. And the entire ELC journey has been a roller coaster ride for me, Rakesh. So whether it was going through, coaching like, stakeholder management or learning new aspects like visibility, personal branding in LinkedIn, a lot of apprehension, even in sharing articles in LinkedIn. That's how I started initially. And I
Yes.
was going through some interviews as well. Half of them didn't even call me. Even if they called, I wouldn't crack that interview. Or even if they cracked, 10, this was my experience, 8 to 10 interviews, my salary was not great or my lifestyle was not great. They were asking me to move to a different city, which was not working for my family. So my dream job was not getting cost even after 6 months of EMC. But then I will share with you what really helped me at the end of the 6 months. I've been doing bits and pieces, but I was seeing small changes, but not the final result until the end of 6 months.
Absolutely. So I understand that it's a journey, right? And that's why we call it as an ELC as a journey. But help me understand that you are in the Hall of Fame. That means you have achieved a certain milestone or a success milestone, I would say. So first and foremost, let us know what that milestone is. And then probably we can go through the journey, what has helped you, and what are the elements of the journey that you have utilized. Maybe the skill, maybe the community, maybe the coaching, and so on and so forth.
Sure. So one thing is on the salary part, I've cost a job now within the 6 to 7 months of ELC. I have about 80% of hike in my salary, which is a number which I cannot even dream about. Like I used to wonder how come my friends are all in that level and how come my salary is never at that level. 80% was an impossible dream for me. I've never heard about 80% hike anywhere with my friends. So that's one. And the second one is I've got a leadership position and the exposure I'm getting in this new job is extremely good. So AI and data governance is what I'm in, and I'm working on the latest things like knowledge engineering, which is my favorite subject. And I couldn't dream of a job which fulfills my passion as well. So I'm
Excellent.
really excited about that. And all this happened because of this roller coaster, drive that I mentioned to you.
Great. So, I mean, we'll be very curious to know now your drive. What has happened? What are the elements which has changed? And what are the top three things that you might have done differently for people? I know that there were apprehension at each step as well, right? But what has changed in your life, in your journey? What were you and what are you now? That is the interesting part that everybody would love to get inspired from.
Yep. So I would give the top three learnings from this course, Rakesh. First one is my mindset. So I used to always have a fear that I'm not worth enough. I don't deserve that. It's not going to happen. So first thing is I was able to identify my strengths and skill gaps, and I was working on my skill gaps. And like I mentioned, so imposter syndrome was really a nightmare for me, and I didn't even understand that I had that. But over the period of time, of course, with the community support and a lot of coaching from you, I've understood that, and I found out methods and tools which you teach us. There are multiple
Mhm.
tools that you give us, FTBA and various other tools that you give us. So I've used those tools and cracked that mindset, or at least I'm able to recover fastly from that. So that's one learning. The second one is something called a strategic interview that you've taught us.
Yes.
So I've not even heard about it, that you can go to an interview, you can actually say who should interview you, which kind of company should interview, what questions they're supposed to ask you. And there is a way by which you tell us, right? Both in LinkedIn as well in the CV, you can
Yes.
really drive what should be asked in the interview. That is a secret sauce I've learned from you, Rakesh, and it took some time still, but I've cracked that. So now the interviews that I've been attending after the 6 months of struggle is I'm able to drive that strategic interview. I'm able to exactly pinpoint which company should call me, and in that call, what questions should they ask. So I'm actually going prepared to that because I already know what questions they have to ask. I'm able to drive people to ask me those questions. The IDA model that you've told sales, so that's something I'm able to crack that in the interview process itself. So that has changed the game with which I play. And now I'm directly under the C-suite executive. So I'm getting coached and trained by C-suite leaders. So I'm at that level now. Perhaps still some more learning. That's where I feel the ELC journey will really help me in identifying and addressing those additional gaps that I have. I've cracked the interview, but to work like an executive is another ball game. Actually, cracking interview seems the easiest part, but being an executive seems the most toughest part, and you're helping us even in that. It's like a continued journey. It's not just cracking
Yeah.
it. So three things: that continuous community support,
Community support
and
is
the
there.
mentorship
So
is
how
there.
did you find that community support in your journey? Has it contributed the most?
Absolutely, Rakesh. So there are many days where I've been approached, or I've also reached out to people when we share. Like you've seen me in all the videos, right? Every meeting I would come on the video and I would share what problems I'm going through in that week or what successes I've accomplished in that week. So week over week, the people would actually reach out to me. I had a very close set of committed leaders who were working along with me, sharing my struggle, sharing my pain as well. So they understood what I'm going through, and weekly once or twice you would guide us on whether our journey direction is correct or not. So there were daily calls, there were weekly calls, which really helped the accountability as well. So I figured out that networking is something that I can really leverage. And now I've become that skill set person, how to identify committed leaders, how to leverage their support, ask for support. Earlier, I wouldn't do that in my past. Like the last 10 years where I said I would stagnant, I wouldn't leverage those people who were committed and who were strong leaders.
Hmm.
I would just be stuck in my own shell, right? I wouldn't ask for help. Now I've become open and asking for help because of that 7, 8 months of journey in ELC. I've understood that community support can help us.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that, because that is what I consider as a differentiating factor while we are building that executive community as well. Now, hope apart from the community, you have done a lot of good job in the LinkedIn as your visibility as a thought leader as well. How has that journey gone into?
So I remember my earlier days. I was perhaps at top what to say, the lowest 12 percentage in the LinkedIn. I didn't exist in LinkedIn. I didn't have a photograph, nothing in that. People didn't even know that I was existing. So you taught us that VIP framework and personal branding. I had a lot of apprehension in sharing my ideas. What if people know that I'm not great in the idea? My ideas are foolish or my strategies are foolish. But you forced us with that 30-day LinkedIn challenge. So I just used to go on publishing it. And then your 1, 2, 3 strategy of LinkedIn also worked, using Gen AI technology to really be fast in creating that also helped. So over a period of time, if you look at it, I've grown in the number of articles that are published, and now people wait for my articles. So I've established that brand. I didn't even know that this was my strength, right? I've
Hmm.
established that brand that when Padma shares something, it is meaningful, precise, and it hits the nail, and it is latest in the industry. I didn't know that I had the strength until I started sharing openly in that LinkedIn. So I had to come out of that fear of being judged by people, but just for the joy of sharing and contributing to the community. So that has changed for me quite a lot.
Excellent. Now, I think you have probably touched upon a lot of elements that we cover in the ELC journey, right? From the community to the skills to the visibility aspect of it. One thing I definitely understand from your journey that you have grown leaps and bounds in your mindset. the Padma that I know when you joined in the last July onwards, I believe. And today, when we are talking about, you're a completely different person. And that persona change itself is a growth sign that I consider. Because once you become that character, the growth is very, very obvious. Now, one of the aspect that we always want to drive is the action from our community members. And you are a part of the ELC community, and there is a larger community of all the members, which is 6,000 plus today. Now, what is your message to those people who are kind of sitting on the fence, not taking that much action? Maybe they have all the resources, coaching, weekly inner circle, ELC as well. What is your message to them?
So my message, Rakesh, is when I come to every weekly call, I would come with one specific problem. I
Hmm.
can't transform everything in my life. Even today, I've not fully transformed, but I would pick up one area at a time. When I come to the call, I'll use that area, and then whatever you're coaching, I'll figure out whether there's a solution for that. When I meet the accountability partners in my accountability call, I'll go with one area, and then I'll share how I transform that. Did I see a success? Did I not see a success? I would openly share that, right? So that really helped me. So having an agenda for my own self with a small step, like
Of
the
course.
skill gap, one small step at a time, 1% change you taught us. So I picked that up. Again, ELC is where I learned that 1% change, right? 1% at a time, but consistent work. And I would never give up. No matter how hard it was, I would either come back to you, Crib, or I would go to my accountability call, Crib, saying I'm not seeing the results. But I would use the full support of the coaching and the mentorship and other members as well. So that worked for me. It's just that we have to be open enough to learn, and we have to be committed and consistent. Those are the only secrets for me to be a part of this community.
Thank you
I'm
very
privileged to be a
much.
part of this community.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that, Padma, because we always feel like, I mean, many of the mid-career professional, when they join, they always feel like it's a shortcut to success. When you are hiring a coach, it means that tomorrow morning I'll be a X person, Y person, which I do not believe in, neither I promise them. And I always say that it is the progress. It's 1% at a time that you grow over a year. That will be a different persona altogether. And those who are actually following that, they have grown drastically in their life, in their career as well. And I'm also emphasizing, and I think you are the prime example of that, to actually follow through the holistic growth rather than just a one-dimensional growth, because that is where you will be probably feeling the fulfillment. Otherwise, it will be always the one-dimensional. Now, you mentioned that you were going to the bumpy ride every time you get laid off. You were reaching out to a different low of your career as well, and how it has changed now. So, let's say you said that just while joining the ELC, you lost a job. How was your mindset then and before? How the Padma used to react?
So mindset was not major change, Rakesh. So when I lost the job during the ELC journey, like I was announced that I would be laid off. That's why I joined ELC. And I knew that things are coming up. It's going to be bad, right? So my mindset had not changed when I joined the ELC club. It was still the same. And what was same was that I didn't know that I had certain strengths, and I
Mm,
didn't know that I had to be very vocal about talking about my strengths. It was more like, what to say, advertising, right? So I didn't know that there's a go-to-market strategy, and that really helped when I joined ELC. So you changed a mind saying you are a salesperson, you are a single man army, but you have to do the sales about your own self.
of course.
So you're selling your strengths to the industry, and I was not aware of that. So I had a lot of good friends, but they didn't know what I was doing. So as a part of a community, one of the activity was grow your number of network in the LinkedIn from your past as well, all the companies. So people started observing me because every day I would post that article, and they would read upon it, and they would get my idea, and they would know that I'm the industry leader. I'm doing something, right? Rather than just yearly once conversation. Now every day through my article, they were reading my mindset. They were reading what I'm going through. So that was a huge change. Like it took a while for me, at least minimum 6 months, but I saw that that was a secret sauce. That personal branding, selling myself, go-to-market strategy, that was the thing which cracked. So people would now come to say, like you would say, right, push or pull kind of an interview. For me, rather than pushing, earlier it was pushing. I would push my CVs, but now I started pulling the interviews. So people would reach out to me saying, my leadership lacks this. We would like to hire you. Can you send your CV? So at least 15 people reached out to me in multiple companies,
Wow.
and I said, can you send your CV? I want to hire you, and I will create a position for you. You tell me what job you want. So I saw the drastic change in that push versus pull strategy, just because I was able to follow your earlier I used to crib, right? You would force us to do LinkedIn, but I would crib, but why are you forcing us? Why are you making us do that article? It seemed like the most difficult thing, but it really helped.
Excellent.
Personal branding helped in social media.
Absolutely. And now, when you were probably searching for the job, or you decided that okay, I need to have something where I want to reach. There are many people in the market today who are just as a mid-career professional having the similar level of experience of 15, 20 years of experience, but they don't realize the potential of coaching probably accelerate this process. And because you can do it on your own as well,
Yeah,
obviously, right? But it is going to take a huge amount of time, effort, energy, and everything, correct?
absolutely.
And self-discipline for sure, instead of the accountability-wise discipline that you get. So, what is your message to those people who feel that they've reached to a certain level so they can figure it out? That's the
Right.
mindset that a lot of people carry as well today. So, what's your message to them?
So I'll just compare the past again, Rakesh. In the past 10 years where I was struggling as a manager, I would reach out to vice presidents who are friends in my community, and they would not be able to coach, or they would give me very limited kind of coaching because they
Of
didn't have
course,
time to spend in finding out what exactly is missing.
it's your problem. Yeah.
Each person is different. We wouldn't get that customized coaching, right? But when I joined ELC and under you, Rakesh, you would literally talk to us. You will find out exactly what is that person's individual attention in the ELC was way too high, and you would customize it and say, go look at this particular thing, this tool, that tool would work for us. We would go approach that and we would fix that. We would come back and share, right? So you are on a weekly connect with us. We would share with you on what is our progress. Again, you will do a course correction. So I would say that without this mentorship or coaching and that individual attention, I wouldn't have caused this, and I wouldn't have even found out what I'm lacking and what are the easier tools which can help. There are multiple tools you give us, right? Perhaps I could take another 10 years to crack my mindset, but it took just 1 week or 2 weeks to resolve the gaps that I had, whether it was skill, whether it was my personal branding, or it was my mindset. So you would help us out within a week or 10 days, and we would cross that layer and we would apply that and we would master that art. So that is what I feel. Mastering that skill set, mastering that skill gap is where the coaching and that individual mentoring help. So I would say that this is the must need. Everybody who is wishing to grow needs a coach, needs a mentor.
Thank
I
you very
didn't
much for
realize
sharing
it
that.
earlier.
Emphasize, which I didn't get it, honestly speaking, during my journey. And I realized that there is a need where a lot of people are getting stranded just because of this one element, what their potential is and where they are performing. There is a huge gap. That is what I identify. Now, the last question, the Padma of before community and the Padma of today. What is the difference in the vision that you have seen now? What is next for Padma?
So my vision, Rakesh, is just like how I have transformed with that holistic mindset. It's not just the career, but I'm seeing my relationship in my home improve. I'm seeing how I'm able to coach my children. I've become a better coach for my children. I'm able to give them space to listen and fail as well. So I'm not afraid of failing anymore. So I'm not afraid of my kids failing. So this is on the personal side. I've caused a lot of improvement in my fitness. I've caused a lot of financial planning and wealth generation within this 8 months. Plus, my career also is in a great place where I'm in my dream company doing my passionate job. Right. So if this can happen for one Padma, why can't we do that for multiple people? And there's no one better than ELC group and Rakesh, because your vision is really to help people, right? So one thing I really like about you is you're not just that money-minded, business-minded person. You go leaps and bounds or contributing what you can for us. December 21 days was something we couldn't expect, gratitude journal writing. And now you're running on 21 days of mindset changing and frequency changing itself. This is beyond what a career coach does, right? So we would love to leverage you, and I would love to be a part of helping others who want to crack their entire life, not just the career.
Absolutely.
This group is the best I've found, Rakesh. So I want to continue my journey and help as many people as possible.
Thank
You
you
know,
very
show
much
me
for
that
sharing that. And I have been also fortunate to get some great students, and you are one of them. I'm very proud of that as well. Okay, and the way you have actually come up, the way you have actually managed your personal struggle, relationship aspect of it, family aspect of it, and the career setbacks in your life. I think it is apt to say that you definitely hold a place as an inspiration, at least on the women empowerment side. So I would definitely put you on that board where it comes the women and leaders who inspire the people in the community. You will be always there in that chat.
Yes, Rakesh. And you heard this as one of my dream as well, right? So one of my dream is I want to
Yes.
focus on women and empower them. So one happy news is in that new job I've just completed 100 days, but I'm leading the empowerment of women across India.
Excellent.
So I've already conducted 2 sessions, and I'm one of the leaders for Bangalore Center.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that, Padma. It was pleasure talking to you and knowing your story and how you have actually gone through this entire journey has been super inspiring. And I hope that people who are listening to you or the recording of this, I'm sure they will be getting inspired from that. Take actions. Those who are in the mid career still not found the guiding light for yourself, please reach out to us. There would be a joining link for us as well in the below this video. And we look forward to have you and help you in your career journey as well. Thank you very much for sharing your story and wish you all the best and all the more success in your career as well.
Thank you so much for the guidance, Rakesh, especially the holistic growth.
Thank you and God bless everyone. We'll see you in the next story.